Hi friends, I'm El Diaz. I'm a romance writer, and on this channel, I do a little plotting and a lot of yapping. And here's a very belated recap of my trip to Steamy Lit Con, my very first convention as a participating author. My friend Deanna came along to be my assistant, and after initially Ubering to the wrong Marriott, we arrived, checked in, paid $50 to retrieve the boxes of books I'd FedExed and had already paid shipping for. And then we got chips, dip, onion rings, and 2 cocktails, and spent $89 on that. Damn, California. The mission was clear. I had to sell some goddamn books.
I woke up at 3:30 Eastern time to drive over to your house.
Yes.
To get the Uber to the airport. What time did you wake up?
3:30.
Okay. So right now it is 7:30 Pacific time.
3:30 Eastern.
Yeah, 3:30 Eastern. So now it is 7:30 Pacific, which is 10:30.
Yes. Yes.
It's 10:30 Eastern. So it has been. We've been up almost 24 hours at this point, right? No. Math is hard.
Time is a construct.
It's a construct that I don't understand.
I don't know.
There's math involved somehow.
We're tired.
Yeah, we're tired. But I'm the kind of tired where I don't even realize how tired I am because I just I've been running on adrenaline all day.
I do realize how tired, but it's also being thwarted by my hunger and my delirium. Delirium.
Yeah, delirium.
Words.
Yeah, so we had the first flight was from Louisville to Chicago, and then short layover, and then Chicago to Anaheim was the long one. And American Airlines gave us the option to upgrade the longer flight, the 4-hour. Well, it gave us the option to upgrade both, but to upgrade the longer one, the 4-hour one, would have been $925 a person.
Which was more than our original, double what our original tickets
We already had tickets.
Yeah,
and it wanted us to pay $2,000 extra for different seats.
And we walked through first class.
It wasn't shit. It wasn't shit. I don't think they even. Andy Christopher! That cut off because I saw Andy J. Christopher, and I was so excited to meet her in person. So I was such a fan of hers, and when she was on my podcast, Make Out Already, and which we've been on in and out indefinite hiatus because we've gotten too busy for it. But I got liquid courage one day to invite her to be on the podcast, and she was on 2 different times, and I read an early draft of her book Faster, which is a Formula One romance, and it's a bonk buster. So there's 3 different love stories within it, and it's so good and dishy, and I was so happy that she was going to be here and I would get to meet her in person. So as we were recording, she walked up and I screamed, and then we went and did the welcome reception and met a bunch of people. I was talking to Shelly Cruz, Kale Hernandez, Kay Rodriguez. I met Aaron Connor. Who else? E.M. Wilson. Met tons of people, chatted, had a gin and tonic. Good times. But now my social battery is completely drained because I've been up since 3:30 in the morning and I have pizza to eat. So I'm going to eat pizza and wash off my makeup, get my CPAP machine on, and go to sleep.
Here's my day one fit check with the Labubu I was giving away. My jeans are from the Gap because I'm a Cat's Eye stan. Deanna dressed for the occasion with her I Love Bad Boys t-shirt. It was Halloween and she is a horror movie fanatic. We had breakfast with a few people, some volunteers, and Pam, who was Abigail Owen's assistant. We ran into Selena Bibra, and she had the most gorgeous bookstore purse, which had a hidden dog. It was so cute, and I had to get a picture of it. This is the quiet room that I didn't spend any time in because I was just in the mayhem. For like the 28 people who follow me on YouTube.
And it might be 30 by the end of it.
Maybe.
Y'all know about the Black Highlander book from CD, right? I'm at table G54. I now have the book rights to that back because my publisher wasn't doing anything, and I told the publisher I wanted it. And I republished it as a favorite book, but now it's mine as indie. And in August, some of you might have heard about Black Scotch TikTok. Well, somebody who wasn't quite on TikTok, and I'm like, I ain't got time to watch all the TikTok videos. People start sending me these videos. Have you seen this guy? This is your man. And I'm like, oh. That month, 30 days after that, so many people started posting. Well, have you read that book by Lisa Rain with the Black Highlander? You need to read this book. You need to read this book. I had the highest number of sales for that book from the time it was released. It was higher than any month my publisher did.
And bring with me to like any vacation, and reading them by the lake, and also the aforementioned Jackie Collins novels. So outside of your own books, what do you like to read at the beach, or what's your favorite beach read?
Format-wise, that kind of goes with the whole, like, you're going to be on the beach, you're going to be falling asleep, enjoying the sun, and then murder.
So I'm a very indecisive Libra, so I'm gonna have a why choose moment. I apologize, and name 3. But Intercepted by Alexa Martin, just the banter, the vibes, the bar that plays Real Housewives like it's sports on every screen. Love it. I also love Nisha Sharma, specifically Dating Dr. Zill, and the whole If Shakespeare Were an Auntie series. Just for me, the banter, the situations they get into, the friendships, amazing. And
You know, I was lucky to work with Nana, and they gave me a Bible. It literally said, like, character Bible. And it was a series, so it literally was a spreadsheet that had sheets from each book and each character in the books. It really helps you dive into the world. When I get an author that's like that, that's like greatly. It makes it so much easier to really dive in and then pull different things that I feel will help give a nuanced performance. I'm really big on music. Music sets a tone for me. So I try to pick musical pieces that I feel work with the book. If they have, like sometimes authors have a soundtrack, I'll definitely be listening to that. Sometimes I have to create my own because it just helps set the mood. Sometimes for the era, just the personality of the person.
Okay, so here is my table setup, my almost final table setup. I just have to put out the Labubu that I'm giving away. So I made this quiz that people can take to figure out which of my books they might want to try. Entry info for the Labubu giveaway, and my trope cards for After Party, Eat the Rich, which just came out today. And I got this candle from a vendor, Briarwick. It smells so good. Deanna said that it smells like sinister bubblegum, and that is exactly what it smells like. My stickers that I designed myself. Bookmarks. Character art that comes with And They Were Roommates. And then I have both editions of both of my full-length novels. And
My banner! Alright. And I am next to Nikki Payne and Camille Hope. Over here is Tati Richardson. And then I need to go see that bean. I saw Lila Lee at a panel today. It was What Makes a Beach Read, and Angie J. Christopher was the moderator of that. And she was dressed as Lila Lee was, as Rumi from K-Pop Demon Hunters. And then I met Lora Taylor Namey at breakfast this morning. And I'm just walking around talking to a camera. I met Diana Quincy today, and then here's the bead. She's so beautiful.
And then it was time for the main event, author signings. Here I am at my table, nervous as hell, and things went really well. So well that we had to update our friend on how first day sales were.
Hey Shannon, we're about to sell out of Etherage. We're gonna sell out of it today, probably, before the panel even happens tomorrow, so.
One of the best conversations I had that day was with Nalini and Courtney from World Builders Club. They were sponsoring the convention and they saw the cover of Eat the Rich and ran over because their whole thing is about organizing by using the power of fandoms to meet people where they are, and I think that the work that they're doing is so cool. And Nalini gave me this Eat the Rich necklace that she had, and it just felt like absolute fate meeting them. And I was part of an event called Fiesta Inolvidable, and it was a bunch of Latinx authors and Latinx Bookstagram, book talk, booktube creators mingling. There was a taco bar, there was an open bar, and it was so lovely to have these nice, intimate conversations with people who are just excited to promote Latinx authors.
That night, after Fiesta Inolvidable, there was a big Halloween party, and I've gone as Dead Ass Jackie from Yellow Jackets. Deanna went as Shauna, also from Yellow Jackets. We were barely there though because we were so exhausted, and on day 2, I was first thing in the day going to be on the dark romance panel. So I have clips from that, and they're probably out of order, and you don't hear the questions that were asked or everyone's answers necessarily. So I'm just numbering the clips as they appear here so that you can sort of tell what is what with all the choppiness of the video.
I'm going to have them introduce themselves and then possibly mention one of their dark romances that you should check out. So I'm going to pass it to Sade.
Hi everybody, can you hear me? Yeah. I'm Sade Rena, but I write dark romance as S Rena. I know it says Rena, but and the book I have in front of me is Cruel Beast. It's the first book in the second duet in the Dark Glass series that I wrote.
I am Evelyn Leigh. I write contemporary and dark rom-coms. And it's Leigh, like write that ass down. And, yeah, Shadow Obsession was my first dark title. It is a dark rom-com with a divinity and it's funny as hell. It's my favorite book of it.
I have Love Sick and Love These are the special edition covers. I'm so sorry you're sold out, but they are mainly about like feminine rage and women taking back their power, and then the men who are down sick for them.
Yoo-hoo.
So I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi, good good morning, everybody. I'm Lora. I write contemporary romantic suspense. This is my latest dark romance. It's a short story. It was written for the Catherine, oh gosh, now I forgot the name, but it was the bowel cancer anthology. And the book, basically, in my books, the women take a very prominent role. In my other series, the Trinity, they are the baddies, and the men are baddies too, but they're there to support that. So the women take up front and center in all my books.
Hi, I'm Elle Diaz. I'm a writer of extremely spicy contemporary romance, and my first dark romance novella, Eat the Rich, came out yesterday. I sold out, but I'm going to take and it has a Boricua vampire who is obsessed with a Dominican heroine who turns out to be just as unhinged as he is, and they do in fact eat the rich. So I agree with what everyone else said, and I think that a lot of what they're saying has to do with you being responsible for taking care of yourself as a reader. And part of that is knowing the difference between fiction and reality, because from some of the things that have gone viral, like real life criminals who have done horrible things, going viral with some readers, I think it's important to know that the dangerous man in real life is not necessarily the one on a motorcycle with neck tattoos from a rough neighborhood. It's Tyler in accounting, who your dad thinks is such a nice guy. So I think it's important that we are thinking about these things as we read, because if we start to lose sight of that, then we can bring actual harm into our real lives if we're looking for certain things in a man or in a person or in a friendship or in anything. If we just don't separate that fiction from reality.
And that's so true, because the serial killer, the sociopath is always the accountant. Or the husband, somebody with the books. Yeah. I thought it was important, but it was very interesting. I was very methodical, and I was like, yeah. I got problems. I know. Yes.
So this is by no means easy for me to do, but I try to just lean into it when I'm feeling uncomfortable as a writer. And sometimes that helps because I can write that in the story and I can give people a chance to react, think through, is this too much? Am I going too far? How do I feel about this person having done this to me? And the part that I was really nervous about in this novella was I have a scene of the hero using his vampire powers to tell the heroine that she cannot finish yet until he says so, and at the time she does not know that he has powers that are making that happen. So there's the dubious consent element there, and I kind of
Question, are you getting more copies? What? Are you getting more copies?
I'm getting more copies. I'm going to do it in order form for signed copies. But yeah, okay. You can all take
What table number are you? What room are you in?
I am in Grand Ballroom G37. And all my books have some kind of sex scene that is so even if you want to check out my contemporaries, you can. But where was I going with that? I had that scene from the heroine's perspective, so we as the reader know, oh, he's fucking with her somehow. This is him that's doing it. But I wanted to portray her experience and discomfort with it, but then I wanted to make it so hot that the reader would be like, I know I shouldn't like this, but I do, and which I think is kind of the fun of writing a dark romance. So I just decided to lean into it. If I was gonna go for it, just go ham. Yeah.
We were so incredibly busy at the sagging table that we've got like no footage, but here's a bunch of photos from the convention. And there is really no better way to finish off this video than with a haul of everything that I got at Steamy Lit.
On to the haul, which I'm going to try to speed run. I do have notes, so I'm going to be looking at notes. Everyone got 2 books in their swag bag. One ARC, one already published, from what I could tell. So the first one I got is the ARC, and it's an ARC of Hollow by Karina Halley. This is a Sleepy Hollow retelling in which, this is the description from Storygraph. Cat Van Tassel doesn't have to choose between Brown Bones and Ichabod Crane, and there are worse things haunting them than the Headless Horseman. So that's Hollow by Karina Halley. And then I was very lucky to get this one in my ARC. This is The Princess and the PI by Nikki Payne. And the reason that it was lucky, other than the fact that it's gorgeous and I'm really excited to read this, is that Nikki Payne was sitting next to me. So I was able to get it signed. And this one is about a woman who's an amateur detective. She has a big online following, but then she gets accused of murder. And she has to work with a PI who she gets to teach her actual real world detective skills. So this is something that I'm very excited to dig into. And I have another PI romance in this stack. Next up, I got a couple of books at the Meet Cute pop-up bookshop in one of the ballrooms, and this is Love and Focus by Evelyn Leigh. This is a sapphic contemporary romance. I also got the audiobook code, so I was listening to it on the plane, and I got some beautiful character art. This is a second chance romance with 2 women who fell in love as college roommates. Circumstances pulled them apart. Here's art for the cuffing game. This is, I think that this is character art for characters from this book. Yeah, Love and Focus. And they are brought back together and have to unpack their whole messy history when they're working together on a magazine feature as writer and photographer. It's very good and very sweet, and I enjoyed it. And I did get to talk to Evelyn Leigh a little bit at her table. She was dressed as Rumi from K-Pop Demon Hunters, which was awesome. And I watched a panel that she was on. Next up, I got another book at Meet Cute Bookshop, and this is The Art of Scandal by Regina Black. So this is about a woman who is the wife of a rising politician, and she catches him doing things that he shouldn't be doing. And yeah. They agree. She catches him doing things that he shouldn't be doing, but she's not in a great position to leave, and he's not in a great position to be going through a divorce because of politics. And so she agrees to be the perfect political wife a little while longer if she gets to keep the house and gets $1 million. But her plans get ruined because she meets an artist who she then falls in love with, and she's under all this political scrutiny already. So that is The Art of Scandal by Regina Black. Next, I got a couple of books by Kay Rodriguez, who I was so excited to meet. She was one of my very first readers. She read an art copy of my debut novel, How That Makes You Feel, and I loved getting to meet her in person. She was so sweet and kind, one of those people who just radiates warmth. And this one is a novella called Caution in Love. There is a sequel to this one. And this one is another book about a woman who left a man who did her dirty. But instead of it being the glamorous politician side of that story, it's someone who's sleeping on her mom's couch now. And the last thing that she wants is a relationship, but she meets someone who has her rethinking that. And also by Kay Rodriguez, I got this shorter novella, and it's called Homecoming. There's another story of someone with a complicated family dynamic going back home. This is someone who is caring for her estranged father, and then she sees the man who, when she was young, is the reason that she got kicked out of the house. So all these feelings resurface. That's Homecoming by Kay Rodriguez. Shout out to Mona Schroff. This is her book, The Second First Chance, and it's about childhood best friends who are torn apart by a house fire, reconnecting in adulthood. I love second chance romances. But the reason that I wanted to give a special shout out to Mona Schroff is that she helped me with my table setup. We were like the only two of like 3 or 4 people who were setting up in the ballroom at the same time, and I walked over and asked if she could give me some hints, if I could just like see what she was doing while I figured out how to set up my table. And she came over and she just like fixed the whole thing, told me what to do, gave me some fairy lights to put around the Labubu that I was giving away. And she was just so kind. And I learned so much from her in just that small interaction about book events and traveling and things to keep in mind when you do table setup. So Second First Chance by Mona Schroff. I'm sure that this one is going to make me ugly cry. And if you like Harlequins, if you like category romances, she writes those as well. At Steamy Lit's table setup that they had in between the ballrooms, where they had a few of their titles, I got this special edition of The Oath by Tati Richardson, and writing as T.M. Richardson for this one. And it is about a woman who gets into a relationship with 3 of her late husband's best friends who swore an oath to him that they were going to take care of his wife, and they do take care of her. So I was excited to pick this beautiful edition up and have Tati sign it, and I also had her sign my copy of Losing Sight, and this is a rom-com. And Tati said that people tell her that this looks like her, and they thought that it was a drawing of her, and that it's not. Ms. Ma'am. Ms. Girl. Anyway, a few books from my co-panelists on the Dark Romance panel. I have Love Fool by Cynthia A. Rodriguez. I loved the book that precedes this one, Lovesick, so much, and this is a revenge tale of a woman who is brutalized by, I don't know if it's one man or several men, but she has been plotting this revenge, and she runs into like this underworld, and a man within that underworld helps her on her revenge journey. Blood Spilled is Blood Owed. I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about all of these. Like, the amount of talent in this, just in this stack, is nuts. And now I have to hit snooze on my thing again, but I'm almost done. I almost made it. Next, from another panelist. This is Wishing for La Luna by J.L. Lora. This is a fake dating and enemies to lovers story. So the notes that I've got for this one, because otherwise I'll just yap. Okay. An aspiring publicist whose own scandal leads to her starting a mutually beneficial fake relationship with a bad boy reggaeton artist, with the added wrinkle that they already know and hate each other. And this one definitely is in the Ficha Mundial shared universe that they're working on. So Wishing for La Luna by, I almost called her Kay Rodriguez, J.L. Lora. Put some respect on her name. And I brought my copy of Shattered Obsession from home and got Evelyn Leigh to sign it. This is another private investigator romance, but it's about the private investigator being a stalker, but like a helpful stalker. So it's giving me Lights Out vibes. It's a dark rom-com, and it's an absolutely gorgeous cover. There were some special editions to this that I think were sold out long before I would have been able to snag one, but I brought this one from home. And of course, I'm going to show you real quick a copy of Eat the Rich by me. This is my incredibly spicy anti-capitalist vampire dark romance novella in which a vampire realizes that the girl he was going to have as a little snack is maybe even more unhinged than he is and is immediately in love. So that is everything that I got or brought from home to get signed. And I went to South Florida a few weeks after Steamy Lit Con because my sister was getting married and I got to run into the Steamy Lit location in Fort Lauderdale, and I got this tote bag which I had been eyeing the whole time at the convention, but I couldn't justify it then. I was already spending too much money. I'm like, I'll come back if I have not like bought so much that I need to get a second suitcase kind of thing. But I didn't buy it then. I bought it at the bookshop. I added these little patches that I already had and the scarf pin that my mom gave me when I was there for my sister's wedding, which I could not figure out how to use it as a scarf pin. Put one of my little bracelets on there. This one says Bloobs, which is one of my nicknames. And it says Debí leer más libros, which translates to I should have read more books. And it's a reference to Bad Bunny's album Debí tirar más fotos, which means I should have taken more photos. I'm not a tote bag person. I just don't know like the utility of them, and I never see ones that I really like, and I need something with a closure, and I just like sewed a snap on here. Not well. Like I didn't look up how to properly sew a snap on. I just did it. Snap on, snap on, snap on. Yeah, but it's cute. I have taken it to the bookstore a couple of times, and I just like looking at it from where I sit on my desk. I have it hanging with some of my Skull Panda collectibles. So that is the whole haul from Steamy Lit Con. As far as books go, I had that candle from Briarwick Candles, the vampire boyfriend one that smells like sinister bubblegum. I got some bracelets and a sweatshirt that says the Bibliophile Society, and I'm going to list the vendors in the description because I was in the original take of this video that I filmed like 2 weeks ago. I showed everything off, but I did not want to go and gather all those things now, and some of them are in the laundry. So Steamy Lit Con truly felt like a life-changing experience for me as a newer, smaller author, getting to meet people who I admired, who have so much experience, and some who are in a similar place in their author journeys. And I saw people who came from backgrounds that often get overlooked by the publishing beast. So seeing a lot of authors who came from a similar background as me, or backgrounds that like I live in a very, very white town, in a blue dot in a red state, and it just felt nice connecting to my culture. And Steamy Lit Con was so well run. It just lit me up inside being in that atmosphere. Deanna was such a great assistant, and like I just can't believe that I have the kind of friends who would fly across the country with me and talk to readers, and it really pushed me out of my comfort zone to talk to readers and promote my work. Getting to be on a panel was beyond my wildest dreams, and talking about dark romance, which is a genre that like 2 years ago I wouldn't have expected to be talking about, let alone writing. I don't know if they're going to put the event on again. They are taking a break for a year at least, and if it comes back, I don't know that they're going to do it in Anaheim again. And if they come back somewhere else, I would love to go again because California was such a trek. But I would go again in a heartbeat. It was wonderful. I could not have picked a better convention to be my first. So thank you to everyone at Steamy Lit Con for letting me be part of this event. Thank you to all the authors I met, to all the wonderful readers who I talked to, who took a chance on my book, or several of my books, or even like took some bookmarks with them. Thank you to the hotel staff who let all these romance lovers descend upon them and treated us so well. Thank you to the two bookish besties who Deanna and I met when we were trying to stake out a spot for flash tattoos, which we did not get, but we got to talk to these two young women who came together, and I was talking to one of them and Deanna was talking to another one, and we were just like yapping like we'd known them forever. And the kind of spur of the moment connections that we were able to make at Steamy Lit Con were just so great. Everyone is so open and cool and loved to talk about books and their lives, and the vibes were immaculate. So if you've made it this far, thank you. Thanks for watching, and leave a stack of books in the comments. And until next time, whoever, who knows when that may be, keep being a hopeless romantic.